the Bears.
Welcome in, everyone, to Barely Educated, the podcast by Bears fans, for Bears fans. We're here to get in touch with our inner meatball over Bears Vikings this Sunday in Minnesota, recap the week that was, and talk a little bit more after further review about the Bears' victory Sunday over the Giants. I'm Mark, as always, joined by Chris on this fine fall Friday morning. Chris, how are you?
Doing good. Yeah, beautiful fall Friday here in central Kansas. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's great here too. I will probably sit outside and play with the dog a decent amount while I do
Nice.
some work this afternoon.
Fun.
So yeah, it's lovely here. And it'll be lovely in the dome in Minnesota instead of dealing with whatever the weather was Sunday.
That is a transition. Nicely done.
Yeah. Sometimes I get this right. So our first task today, as usual on these Friday pods when we can make them happen, is a little bit we call after further review. And much like the league office and the refs, we're going to try to get all this wrong. No, I don't have a whole lot I want to change. The drops were a huge problem, and Caleb's day looks amazing without them. And everyone's like, "Wow, he was really good even with the drops." The national narrative is unreliable. It's a pendulum. It's essentially, rage fodder one week and praise the next, and it totally overreacts to everything. But Caleb had a really good game, and I think that's the place to start because you get lots of fun data now by the time you get to Friday. And that's one of my favorite things to talk to you about. So, if I may, let me do a little data heavy stuff to start, and then I'll
Do it.
turn it back over to you. Sacks taken, QB fault or not? At the bottom left of the graph, which is where you want to be on this graph, usually you want to be in the top right on these, but this is charting the amount of times it's the QB's fault, so you want to be low. Caleb Williams, total sack EPA lost, second best or third best in the league at not being at fault, not losing EPA. In other words, the main metric that Ben Johnson cited,
Hmm.
and then sacks EPA lost by the QB's fault. He is actually, if I'm reading this graph right, basically tied for first, and he is in the lower left quadrant with guys like Dak and Mahomes.
Oh, okay.
And
I'll
now the
take that.
question could be, of course, asked, how do you figure out if it's the QB's fault? That's going to be a subjective thing when you watch the film. But this is one neutral observer basically being like, yeah, he's really good on the sacks. Another bit of data is the way the Bears are being managed by Ben Johnson. So this is a Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams intro to start. We're going to go back and forth with this data. Ian Hartsitz on Twitter has basically charted how many times a team uses play action and pre-snapped shift or motion. So there's four quadrants, right? Like lots of motion, no play act, not much play action, not much play action, not much motion, not much motion, lots of play actions. I know this is a mouthful, it's a lot easier to just see it, but and then the crucial one, lots of play action, lots of motion, and the Bears are right there in that quadrant next to the Colts, a little bit below the Rams, a little bit ahead of the Lions.
Oh,
In other words, for the 2025 season, the Bears are keeping company with the best offenses in the league.
yeah, right. That's good to
And this is Ben Johnson's determination to use motion to read coverage and to use play action to set up the big game hunting and the coverages he's trying to get. We know this has been a major talking point for Ben since he got here, and we're seeing the dividends of it. And that is substantially modern NFL offense. Guys, whatever else happens this year, we have a coach who knows what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball, and they're going to be consistently good at the things the coach can control. on that side of the ball for as long as this guy's the coach. I could not be happier about that. We had a little hiccup in the red zone there for a couple weeks. Seems like that's already getting addressed, but the rest of it is cooking. He's good. The coach is good.
Wow.
All
The
right.
Bears coach. You're talking about the Bears
Yes.
coach, right?
Yeah, our head football coach, who's also the play caller, which is the most important job
Mm.
in other than the actual, being the head coach. Like he's doing both and he's exceptional at it. And I've said it on this pod before, for as much as we hem and haw about the Bears tortured QB pass, which we all recognize is the case, they've been equally inept at getting the play caller right. And by golly, we got one.
Yeah. When's the last time that you felt good about the offensive coordinator, the play caller? Maybe a few weeks in 2013 before we realized Mark Trestman was Dr.
It
Death,
was
Terry
it
Boyd.
was it was hard to feel good about him, the play caller, knowing how poor he was at the head coach.
Mm. And growing the
Say
band. Yeah.
maybe naggy, but it always felt fun and smoke and mirrors esque.
Yes. Yeah, it
Ben's
did.
trick plays are just the cherry on top, not the whole engine that drives it.
Right. Right.
My favorite Caleb data point this week, though, is the big talking point all week, all season in a lot of ways. There's two buzzwords or phrases that I'm sort of sick of hearing because people use them that don't understand what they're saying about them, or they're just bad catch-alls.
Surely.
Processing, which I've gotten sick of, as I told you a
Ah,
couple weeks back,
yeah. Yeah.
because it's never defined. And I'm not going to address that one now. But time to throw, often in a tweet as triple T. Oh, Caleb leads the league in time to throw. He's not processing. That's usually the corollary. He's taking too many sacks because his time to throw is so large, and it is huge. His time to throw is hilarious. So in the chart put together, well, the tweet I saw, it was recapped by, or no, I think he did make it. Sorry. It's two things I'm going to do with this chart, or two charts. Our Bear Weather Fans is the guy's name.
Hmm.
He says, Our boy is breaking my spreadsheets. So again, this is data driven. See, some of these fan accounts that actually do the homework on the data are dancing in circles around the beat people.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the access that the beat reporters have, but I'm begging you to follow these guys if you're listening and you're not. These guys give you really great data with context instead of just trite, dumb talking points repeated infinitely. So, average time to throw versus the pressure to sack rate. This is the key context to any conversation about time to throw. Time to throw is only a negative if it's going to mean that you're taking a ton of sacks and you're not actually moving down the field because you're holding the ball too long because you don't know what you're seeing. Caleb Williams' average time to throw is almost 3.25 seconds. The next highest is Jalen Hurts at just over 3.
Okay.
So in the chart, the quadrants are 2.5, 2.75, 3, 3.25. Caleb is so far over that he's practically breaking my chart.
Hmm.
That's how bad it looks initially
Hmm.
in the time to throw. But his pressure to sack rate, in other words, the times that you are under pressure and do not successfully escape it, is basically the lowest or second lowest in the league. It's him and Bo Nix.
Hmm.
So he's holding the ball a long time, but he's not getting sacked. So then that gives you the necessary information to ask about the context. And the context is because he's Houdini back there and he's making and creating plays, and sometimes they're dropping it.
Yes.
But this does not, time to throw in Caleb Williams' case, does not directly correlate to taking more sacks. His sacks are, in fact, way down this year, as I think most people already know. His pressure to sack rate is some of the best in the league, and it's under 20%. Last year it was in the 40s, I believe.
Yeah.
And a guy like Jaden Daniels' pressure to sack rate this year, at least, is 50% before he got hurt.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Josh Allen, 38%. Caleb, 19%, if I'm reading the graph basically
Wow.
right. Half of Josh Allen's number, even though his time to throw is half a second bigger than Josh Allen's time to throw.
Hmm.
Stop quoting time to throw as a be all end all without correlating it to whether they're taking sacks. Because this is just called creation when Pat Mahomes does it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Good
And by
distinction.
the way, Caleb's doing a darn good impression of Patrick Mahomes on this particular note. Not saying accuracy's there yet. I'm just talking about the Houdini stuff. And also the I'm just fast enough thing.
Yeah.
And he looks way faster this year, but he's also just like Mahomes, somehow just faster than the guy chasing him. He does this little weird skip when they dive.
Mm.
It's so fun to watch. Please, I'm begging you guys, enjoy this. This is the immersion. This is the Bears getting better and not being bad. This is the Bears being relevant. It's not yet the Bears being contenders.
No, it is not.
The roster's not there yet, but the QB is winning you games for comebacks.
Yes.
He's a hot mess sometimes during stretches of the game. The
Yeah.
feet and the accuracy aren't quite where they need to be consistently, but there is uncoachable talent at avoiding sacks and the ice in the veins stuff. And that should have us excited.
Yeah, it should. Why do you suppose some people still just are choosing to not like Caleb and repeating these time to throw and processing? Why is that? What's a good reason for choosing to stay in that place as a fan?
I don't know. As a fan, I think we're jaded by the past.
Maybe
And
protecting?
it's like easy to be negative based on the Bears QB's past. And it's certainly possible that all this falls apart at any point for a game or two and everybody freaks out again. But Caleb has put it now on the tape multiple weeks with the comebacks and the difficulty in bringing him down. And he just faced a great pass rush. That Giants pass rush has the league leader in sacks and two or three other dudes. The rest of it's hot trash, but the pass rush on the Giants is really good. And I think
Okay.
Dart played really well before he got hurt. So I shouldn't say all of it's hot trash, but
Yeah,
I mean, they did fire their coach for a reason.
they
At
did.
any rate, that's I think what's happening with fans, with the media. I think the narratives just self-perpetuate, and I don't know, honestly. They're supposed to be better at being objective. All right, one more Caleb-centric round of tweets
Okay.
here from my buddy Start Kyle Orton.
Would follow.
Great follow, perhaps the best if it language warning, but otherwise,
That's all right.
he says this is a multi-part tweet, so hang in there. I fully agree. Caleb's time to throw isn't a problem. But splitting time to throw like this is misleading because everyone has a lower time to throw when clean because you can create pressure by holding the ball too long. So like under pressure versus clean is the tweet he's retweeting, and he's saying, well, duh. If you're clean, you should get the ball out. But the point is, time to throw is enhanced by escapability. Fortunately, that's where, back to start Kyle Orton's point, you have Caleb's perfectly league average QB responsible pressure number, percentage, I mean, there to tell you that he does not create his own pressures by holding the ball. Just asking everyone to use the data responsibly and have fun out there, kids. A good thing I like to do is create a pocket presence profile of a guy by looking at time to throw, pressure to sack rate. I just spent 10 minutes on that, right?
Yes.
And QB responsible pressure, which was the part I was trying to do in that as well. These four give you an idea of who's extending and who just has bad pocket presence. And then, as a contrast for an example, because we're talking to Bears fans, and so is start Kyle Orton. He then uses 2022 Justin Fields and 2025 Caleb Williams. And the time to throw, Fields 3.45. That's pretty high. Caleb, we already went over 3.25 to 3.34 or whatever, whichever it's in that range. So Fields a little higher, but pretty similar. Here's where it gets a little different. Percentage of QB responsible pressures. So it's like your fault, get rid of the ball. QB responsible pressures. Caleb is at 16%. Fields in 2022 was 23. So 7% more, which in the course of a game can matter quite a bit. Pressure to sack rate. Caleb is at 12 by this metric, and Fields was at 27. I mean,
Hmm.
so that means almost over a quarter of the time that he was pressured, he was getting sacked. And we all lived that going, get rid of the ball, throw the ball. Through.
Yeah.
And then this one's really important too, as far as this idea of a pocket presence profile. That's why I didn't love Daniels coming out. Clean pocket scramble rate. When you're taking off when you don't need to.
Hmm.
This year, Caleb is at 4. Fields was at 9 that year.
Hmm.
So Caleb is not really looking to do this that much, and he's actually very effective when he does. You could argue that they should do it more, honestly, but I don't want him taking the hits. Look at Daniel's year this year.
Speaking of Justin Fields, did you watch any of last night's game, Jets and Patriots?
Yes, most of it.
That
He
I
looked like Justin Fields. He's
that's
not changing. That's what he
he's
is.
not. No, and I feel bad, and this is just a little
Yeah, I
side
like
note,
the
but
kid, but
I
yeah.
still feel sad watching him. And he's, two teams removed, but I just wish him well, but yeah, same thing. And you could see him holding the ball and getting sacked last night and fumbling still, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he has become the best version of himself that he can probably be when it comes to turnovers.
Anyway.
Just the one last night. But you still watch it and you go, this isn't the NFL.
Hmm.
This isn't what quarterbacking in the NFL is going to demand of you. One last Caleb point, and then we
Yep.
can move on to the game coming up, I guess, or whatever you had for further review. This was a really neat video. There were two things really that were off the field stuff, which gets at your questions. Why does everybody hate him still? I don't know. He had reached out and gotten his like sixth grade teacher to come to the game, take a
Yes,
picture
that
with
was
him. That was cool. Sent that to my teacher wife, and the guy's like, "Teachers make a difference." Blah blah blah. And then he did his Caleb Cares Foundation, had a bunch of youth in for the game as well. And now quoting an Adam Schefter tweet, which gives me the ick, but this is cool. For the second straight year, Bears quarterback Caleb Williams is the Week 11 NFLPA Community MVP. This
nice.
time for treating 40 members of his hometown youth football team to a memorable weekend in Chicago, featuring an AI tech workshop, a panel with Bears executives, in zone seats to last week's win, and actual time with Williams. And then he links like the event and the videos. You can all find Schefter's Twitter easy enough. So yeah, he's winning these little awards, and yet people hate on him because he paints his nails sometimes. Who cares?
Yeah,
So bravo,
heard more
Caleb.
of that even. Yeah, seems like just a good dude. Yeah, good guy on the field, off the field, everything that you want in your starting quarterback to represent your organization. So yeah, with you.
Anything for you from further review?
Yes, last week you had mentioned probably Ben's worst coaching game. Do you still feel that way?
At the start of it, at the start of it,
Yeah. Okay.
I still don't know why we didn't run more. But
That's what I was going to get to.
yeah,
I wish that there was
maybe
more.
the first half would be how I'd tweak that. Thought he
Yeah,
had a bad first half,
and using
which is better than having a bad second half.
yeah, using Monangai more to wear down the line. I mean, he's proven that he's better at that than Swift is. So maybe soften him up with
I just thought it
Monangai.
was curious how much they were throwing early when you're playing one of the
Yes,
worst run defenses in the league.
exactly. Yeah, maybe
But I
overthinking.
love how he came out and said Caleb fixed his calls at the end of the game. Like he was like really complimentary about it, so that was cool.
Yeah.
I still love him, don't get me wrong. But I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
what's the
yeah, yeah,
plan
yeah.
here?
Yeah, just that was the one thing that looking back and say, yeah, I still wish that they had been more aggressive in the run game because of New York's struggle with stopping the run, and felt like there was an advantage that they could have had that they didn't take.
And then, but all the drops, it's a blowout if they catch the football.
Ugh.
So
Yeah, and his
you
completion.
can't catch it for him, as the saying goes.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I suppose on that, maybe some of the short throws are thrown too hard, but it seems like it's the NFL and you're supposed to catch it anyway. And maybe we can have a little more touch, but I'm not putting that on Caleb overall.
Well, Colston Loveland
Just a
made
thought.
the best catch of that game, and it was he had to turn, yeah, completely turn his body the other direction to grab the ball from Caleb to keep the drive going. So it can be done.
Crazy, crazy high degree of difficulty for both. The throw with the body torque jump man thing that Caleb does, it's probably just about impossible to perfectly hit that accurately, but then also having to go back for the ball, hands outstretched. Great
Hmm.
job by both of them, I would say.
Yeah, maybe something's starting to really click with Loveland because he's looked fantastic the last 2 weeks. So
And I
good to see.
pointed it out in the post game.
Mm,
7 targets, 7 catches for the two rookies
yeah,
in Loveland and Burton.
yeah. More burden,
That
please.
was a talking point this week. A lot of people saying, get me more Burton. It sounds like
Yeah,
we will. But that's something one to watch for Sunday.
Yeah, and again, it was good. The last touchdown that Caleb ran in, Zacchaeus was wide open. He could have just flipped it to him, but Caleb's like, nope. I got to make sure this gets in here.
All right, let's now talk Bears Vikings round two.
But
Much has changed, I feel like, for the Bears since we last played this Vikings squad. First, the injury report as of yesterday. So today's is the big one. Yesterday's is relatively important. Remember, people never worry about the Wednesday one. Yesterday, the only two starters still on it that weren't just getting a rest day were Jaquan Brisker for a back and TJ Edwards for that hand hamstring combo. Those are the did not practices. I shouldn't say not on it. They're the ones who didn't practice. The others that matter, like Rome and DJ, they didn't practice Wednesday and doesn't matter. They were limited Thursday. They're going to play.
yeah,
Everybody else that was on Wednesdays was full, which includes Komet, Grady Jarrett, Dominique Robinson's coming back.
okay.
DeAndre Swift was full, so maybe he's finally getting 100%. It feels like he's been at 80 or 90 for a couple games
Hmm.
and missed a game. You know what I mean? Like he had a couple where he's out. So getting mostly healthier-ish, but I mean, still missing the two big time names in the secondary, even if everybody's back. And it looks like Brisker may not play. So we'll see where that goes. When I see Brisker back, I think concussion. Yes, I know they're
Yeah,
supposed
I
to be
know.
head, but I don't.
It's
Brisker with a weird injury no one can understand gives me bad feelings, man. It just does. That's the bad news of the week.
I thought the same exact thing when you said that. When you said back, I thought, really, really. Yeah, he's very concussion prone, unfortunately, and
And they're always like later in the week when they find him.
yeah, yeah, and he's looked not nearly himself this season when he has been on the field. He's getting beat a lot. So yeah,
He's fine on the line and he's been bad in coverage,
yeah, yeah, and yeah. Well, that's where he's more
which
important
is
in
a
coverage.
shame because he's more likely to get concussed playing in the box. So I don't know what they do there. It scares me.
Yeah.
But Edwards, we knew was going to be out for a couple games. I actually would like, well, if in my ideal world, if everybody is healthy, which means Brisker too, and then assuming Edwards isn't, I would just stop playing Sewell, except for obvious run situations, and just play all the safeties. Just keep CJ Gardner Johnson out there. I don't know what you're gaining with Sewell out there unless it's an obvious short run situation.
Hmm. Yeah. Another review thing that he was just bad. And
Yeah.
I think in pass coverage he's too far forward, and balls are getting thrown over him. At least that's what it looked like most of the time.
I'm
Uh,
sure as a young player who hasn't played much, he's probably overthinking
that could
coverages and
be. That could.
zones and oh, is this my guy? Oh, no, that guy. It just they stink on the back end
Yeah.
across the board, but he's been really rough there. He also had that horrible missed tackle on that 40-yard
Oh,
out to the or little play to the back in the flat, and I'm like, I thought we were going to lose because of that play at
yeah.
one
I did
point.
too. I thought that was the game. Yep. Hmm. It
Yep.
was a
So
big
anyway, all right, Bears Vikings.
Bears Vikings.
Their injuries, I don't know half these people. I know Derisau has been back and forth, and I can't quite tell if he's going to play. And Grenard missed the first two practices of the week,
Okay.
which would be two huge players if they were out. And obviously, the one problem with doing these Friday morning as opposed to later in the day is we don't get the full report from either team, which gives you a better idea, unless you're playing the Ravens, in which case it doesn't tell you anything. Derisau practiced Wednesday but didn't Thursday.
Hmm.
And then Grenard has been out both. Everybody else is limited. So you figure the rest of them are definitely playing, and those two still could. So, all that said, the Bears offense is a whole lot better than it was week one.
Hmm.
Some of that's competition, but you're also supposed to put up tons of points against bad competition. And I think the Bears are going to be out for revenge in a game that they should have won week one.
Correct.
And I will admit, I have a huge, huge problem with this game. I can't stomach the thought of losing to 9 twice when he's basically bad.
Yes.
and a total dork. And it's going to really, really bother me if the Bears look like they're going to lose to him again. I'm going to have a harder time with this one.
Mm,
I desperately want the Bears to win this game for a lot of reasons. This game also takes their playoff probability up to like 60 something if they are now 7-3. So that would be great
yes, it
for
would.
those of you who are so inclined. I still think this year's a success if Ben and Caleb look good together, and that's looking good. But yeah, wild card berth would be awesome too. Hey, you could still contend for the division if you beat the division opponents.
Right.
So you can't go in through in the division either and feel real good about things. So it's a pretty huge game for the Bears, but it's not like the end of all the season or some doom and gloom thing if they happen to, play worse.
Right.
But man, do I want this one. Okay, when the Bears have the ball, everyone sit down for this. It is the Vikings' 12th best defense by yards per game against the league's third best offense,
What?
who also continue to lead the league in explosive plays per game by like a full play.
Wow.
They move the ball, guys. It's the red zone that's the only thing left. That's advantage Bears.
Yes,
In
it
the
is.
passing game, it's pretty even. They're ninth, we're 14th. And in the run game, they're 22nd and the Bears are second. So again, this is a just go ahead and run, run, run.
Yeah.
We
Well,
can
learn from last week where you
I
did.
mean,
Yeah.
I know we get bored with that, but it sets up the play action. That's why he was determined. Ben was determined to make Caleb play under center and get comfortable with play action because he knows how effective it is. And it didn't
Right.
look good early because Caleb hadn't really been asked to play real quarterback in college.
Yes.
Now we're seeing that he's learning it and the talent is taking over, and it seems like a fairly straightforward game plan. So maybe it's too obvious. The other side of the ball is pretty interesting because I can't believe I'm saying the Bears offense matchup by the numbers favors them substantially, which seems crazy. The defense versus the Vikings offense is almost dead even by the rankings. We're the 27th defense by yards because that's our thing. Give up a bajillion yards,
Mm-hmm.
decent on third down, take the ball away, rinse, repeat. And when you don't get the takeaways, you give up 42 points.
Exactly. Yep.
Their offense is 24th overall. We're 24th against the pass. They're 20th with it. We're 25th against the run. They're 24th running.
So slight advantage.
That Vikings offense is down to 24th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What a
I
difference
mean,
a quarterback makes. Yep.
I don't know. Whatever could the difference be?
Yeah.
McCarthy's
Especially.
numbers. So he's been hurt. I'm not trying to pick on that part.
Eh,
That's going to explain the totals. 692 yards, 5 TDs, 6 interceptions. He's only 22. That's one redeeming quality if you're a Vikings fan, I suppose.
mhm.
When I see them on red zone and when I catch some of the highlights, and I know that is not a great like way to approach this, but I just don't see somebody who looks like they're going to have NFL accuracy. It just
Mhm.
looks like it's going all over the place. When he's trying to hit Jefferson and it's thrown 2 feet short one throw and 2 feet over his head the next. He's a mess, man. You can't lose to him twice.
Yeah.
Not this version of him. Maybe he develops, but right now you can't lose to him twice
Mhm.
and try to contend for a wild card berth or the division.
Yep. I
So,
especially yeah, they need to win for the sake of keeping pace in the division as long as Detroit still has that tiebreaker over them. But yeah, you can't make JJ McCarthy look great twice in one season when he hasn't really
when
looked
he looks
good, the rest of the time.
right, right. Everyone
Great,
else
great.
makes him look bad.
Mhm. Oh boy.
All right.
Now you made me
So
need
who
to
you
think.
picking?
Well, I was I am going Bears, but I'm going Bears in a close one. I'm gonna say like 27-24, something like that. Bears.
I'm gonna say the Bears do the yards thing, but the defense of the Vikings is still talented enough that maybe we have a hard time in the red zone again just to irritate me and settle for some field goals and we get like a 26 for the Bears. And
Yeah.
I'll say they do a better job against McCarthy this game and say they hold him to 16.
Ooh, I'll take that.
Field goal fest.
I hope you're right.
That would be crazy because the defense stinks. So I'm really going out on a limb with picking them to be that effective. But There you go. Okay. Last week, my attempt to jinx the division by picking them all to win with basically the worst possible logic actually worked okay. We got 2 out of 3 that way to lose,
Yes.
including an absolutely miserable performance from Green Bay that has Packers fans wanting to fire the head coach. Be my guest. I would be thrilled. Go ahead. He's good. You guys are so spoiled, it's comical. If you think Matt LaFleur's the problem and not the line right now, it just proves to me that you've never watched crappy O lines, which you're also spoiled with that. Am I jealous
or
yet? Yes.
or
And
maybe,
the QB is erratic.
yeah, yeah. And they've had QBs in
But
the
watch
past.
that game.
Yeah.
Center is out for the season, and the guards stink.
Mm.
And it's just pressure up the gut. And that's the worst thing for any offense to deal with, no matter how good or bad the QB and coach are.
Yeah.
Your factory has finally got a shortage up there for O line, which you're probably fixing as we speak. The next All Pro is getting his first reps in practice with the ones,
Yeah,
so
maybe.
I'm not going to gloat too much. But they stunk Monday. That was a horrible game.
That's three losses that the Packers
Horrible.
have where they've scored 16 or less. Like that blows
Yep.
my mind that in year 3 with Love as the starter with LaFleur that you can't put up offense against three well, the Eagles are a good team, but
Philly's good.
the
You
Panthers
held them to 10 points. You should have beat them still.
right,
The
exactly.
defense has
Exactly.
done its job every week. The
Defense
defense is great.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm
Honestly, guys, welcome to being Bears fans, Packers fans.
yeah,
Welcome to losing 16-13 to a crappy team because you have no offense. And you're like, my gosh, the defense is going to have to score.
yeah,
This has been our existence for 30 years. Enjoy it.
yeah,
And you're probably going to come out of it this week and you won't be enjoying it for very long. But boy, do we ever know what this is like.
yeah. I
And I
think
can't help but laugh at the fire the coach stuff.
I think another thing with the fans is they're used to having a quarterback that can overcome bad line play. They
Hmm.
don't now. So can we slow down the Jordan Love is the third next great Packer quarterback, MVP candidate, all that stuff. Can that finally go away now and be put to rest?
Some of it, I mean, he's not Rodgers. I
Not
think people forget in his prime, Brady's the GOAT for good reason, but in his prime, Rodgers is the most physically talented quarterback the league has
yeah,
ever had.
best
I think he's a bum.
best
Just
quarterback play
if they
ever.
didn't choke in the playoffs, the GOAT race is very close.
Or, yeah. Hmm.
But they have a couple choke jobs in the playoffs, basically to the Niners, which is kind of funny that it's always the Niners.
Hmm. Yeah.
He probably has 3 or 4 rings if they didn't lose those games. And then it's like really close. Brady will have the rings, Rodgers will have the talent,
Yeah.
athleticism. I mean, getting another Rodgers is an insane thought to begin with.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love is not that.
No.
He reminds me way more of Favre. I don't even think he's that at the moment.
He's
But
not far. No.
it's hard to evaluate him because he's really inconsistent. There'll be like a half a year where he's as good as anybody. I mean, a whole half of a season,
Hmm.
and then the other half he's bad. It's not like game to game with him. That's what's so weird about it. It's like these
Hmm.
stretches.
Yeah. And Favre,
But they paid him like one of the best in the league, and that's the issue.
that's the 155 guaranteed million. Yeah, that's the problem. Favre would have bad games every now and then, where like 4 or 5 interceptions, but then the next game, light it up, and that was what was so frustrating about him with Packer fans was that game to game inconsistency. But he never had stretches where he was just
Well, I feel like even when he was turning it over a lot, and it might be just selective memory, I still feel like they were scoring and productive because he's
yeah,
just flinging it.
mm-hmm. Because he'd have 4 touchdowns
That
with
was
4 interceptions.
right. So there's no shame in losing to Philly, but when you held him to 10 and lost, that is tough to stomach
Mm-hmm.
because you feel like you had them beat and your offense couldn't do its part.
And
All right, they get the Giants this week.
okay, yeah, they're gonna win.
The Jameis Winston Giants,
Oh,
though.
that is true.
Give him a Jameis bump. Let's go. I love him. He's funny as could be. My wife remembers him because he's funny, which is so funny to
Uh-huh.
me. Because he did the Hamilton thing, and I sent the clip to her,
Uh-huh.
and she's like, "Oh, I love him. He's funny." And then I'm like, "Do you even know who he is before I sent you this?" She's like, "Yeah, he's the guy that loves snow and eats the W's." And I'm like, "You do know who he is." So it's like LeBron James And then Jameis Winston that passed like the wife, mom, whatever test.
All
Go
right.
get him, Jameis.
Yeah.
Packers bounce back and win big.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's
Or are the Giants going to get the interim coach bump?
that's always possible, but I don't know. That's a rough outfit right now.
This is a funny game because you feel like the Packers are due to like play better just by sheer NFL math,
Yeah.
right? Like teams score 40 one week and 13 the next. It's like, okay, well, they're kind of due to score more.
Hmm.
And then you go, yeah, but it's like all the weird sports things that no one can quite quantify or understand that we all have as these vague impressions percolating in the back of our Neanderthal football brains going, yeah, but the new QB could be surprising. Ah, but the new coach, they may not know what he's going to do. Maybe they're going to try really hard. Like you get that. Unless you're the Bears and then you just keep losing until the last week. It's still impossible to pick the Giants without knowing more about what the heck they're going to be the rest of the year besides what they should be, which is openly tanking. Give me Green Bay, hold my nose.
Yeah. So I mean, if the defense does their job again, I think you can score 15, 16 on the Giants. Right? Right? I mean,
You guys got this.
you know.
I like
Yeah.
the nugget too. That's just straight trolling about Caleb having more pass reception touchdowns than like their Packers first round pick and stuff like that. Like
Oh, yeah.
we got to be careful. Don't wake the beast. Like come on, we are not entitled to brag that much just yet.
Correct. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you think Matt LaFleur should be fired over this, your perspective is very much off.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
new territory for them, you know. Yeah, they
yeah, yeah.
don't.
Take it from us. We've seen this before.
Yeah.
All right. Detroit at Philly. I didn't bother with the spread in the other games, by the way. Vikings getting 2.5 at home. So it's a toss up essentially.
Yeah.
And the Giants, or sorry, Vikings favored by 2.5, and the Giants getting 7, which means Vegas definitely favors Green Bay a lot. Philly favored by 2.5. It's another toss up. Sunday night football. Let's hope we get a more entertaining version of Philly this time. 6-3 Detroit at 7-2 Philly. That's, I think you could pretty much would have to say that's the marquee matchup on paper of the
Yeah.
week. It's always nice when that actually syncs up with the Sunday night game or the island games. I I have no idea because Philly isn't playing particularly well on
Mm-hmm.
offense either, and Detroit is.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, this seems like the kind of game that somehow the Eagles over the last few years always rise to the occasion for. And you look at it at the end, you're like, oh yeah, why were we all doubting them again? I'm also obviously rooting for Philly, so
Yep.
give me Philly by 3 in a much, much better, more fun game than the last Philly versus a division opponent game that we suffered through Monday. But Detroit is rolling. I mean, they got beat by the Vikings. I guess not rolling that much. They crushed whoever, the Commanders. Dan Campbell took over play calling.
Yes, I saw that. I didn't realize that there was some kind of controversy over who was calling plays for the Lions. So maybe they
I
do
guess
miss
I
them.
guess that's what losing to 9 will do to you.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I also like the Eagles. They're still the defending champs, so they need to be dethroned before I pick against them. So yeah, and their offense. I guess Kellen Moore was
Big deal.
bigger, more important deal for the Eagles than I expected. I didn't think that based on his time with Dallas as their OC, that he was that great of a coordinator. But the Eagles' offense has definitely taken steps back from last year.
I thought Monday it looked like the ball was dying a lot on Hurts. Like it didn't look like he had any arm strength, so I'm wondering about that. Keep to watch.
Okay.
I apologize though, everyone. There's absolutely another marquee matchup that I forgot about.
Yes.
7-2 Seattle at the 7-2 Rams.
Ooh, that is a
They are
good one.
both kicking butt too. I mean, they are legit Super Bowl contenders if Darnold keeps it up, and I think the Rams absolutely are when Stafford's healthy. I mean, Stafford's the MVP right now.
Yep.
He's going crazy.
Yep.
The whole like 20 touchdowns and no interceptions in his last 6 games thing. He's absolutely on fire. They have one of the best coaches in the league. They're at home. I'll take him here, but I think that's going to be a fun game and two legitimate contenders, and I did not see that coming for Seattle. And I think with the Rams, we basically were like, well, if Stafford's healthy, so far so good, knock on wood. And
Would
he's
you
so
say,
fun to watch. He's on a heater, man. He's
yeah,
pretty crazy.
the Seahawks, they're kind of like the Vikings last year, and maybe Darnold is the common denominator there. And if that's the case, I like the Rams as well because Darnold, when the spotlight was bright, he kind of struggled a bit.
He
So
struggled down the stretch.
yeah,
And yet you get the sense that Vikings fans are like, why didn't we just keep the guy who had a really good year? He's having another really good year.
well, they
That's
kind of
a
had to
fun
go.
Seattle team too, though. The defense is a lot better than people realize. The interior of the D is awesome. Jackson Smith and Jigba is amazing.
Yeah.
Might set a receiving record.
Hmm.
That there's definitely talent there. They are the one example right now that I think you can say the young DC hire has been successful. However, they're absolutely going to lose the OC. They're going to be back on that treadmill.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Clint Kubiak's getting a head coach job, I believe, when it's all said and done.
Probably.
But yeah, give me the Rams. I'll say give me the Rams and the points. They'll win by 4 for some reason. I don't know, 31-27. Something a good, nice, honorable football score.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I like that. I think the Rams win a little bit. I'll say they win by a touchdown. Uh,
All righty.
but yeah, I think the Rams come out on top, and they're the team to beat. I think in the NFL right now, I think they're the best team, not just the NFC, but in the NFL. I think the Rams are number one.
I think so too, because like we could have done Denver versus the Chiefs as well. And Denver's got a 2-game lead on them. And no one really buys Bo Nix right now. And no
Right.
one thinks the Chiefs are out of it. But if they lose and they're 5-5, you're like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, I heard
That
of.
division's tough, and the Bills are like a roller coaster. So your usual suspects, Ravens are on the come up, as I said they would be. We'll see what they look like by the end of the year. But like the AFC looks like it's kind of wide open.
Yep.
I still think you go Chiefs win all these road games to get to the Super Bowl because they're the Chiefs.
What they
But
do.
they aren't even a playoff team at the moment.
Yeah, they're not a playoff team, but they're still the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. I heard that the
Crazy.
other day. Yeah, just
And I
nuts.
think there is some logic to, yeah, some of these usual suspects get in, they have the experience, they'll probably play pretty well. Does anyone really think the Colts play the Chiefs, that the Colts are going to beat them in the
Nope.
playoffs? I don't. But Denver's defense is amazing. Could they beat the Chiefs this week? You bet. I mean, who knows? And you go, who's playing really good ball? It's the Colts, the Eagles, and the Seahawks,
Mhm.
and the Rams. And then you watch the Eagles Monday, you're like, it's the Colts, the Seahawks, and the Rams. You think, who's going to win in the playoffs out of those three?
Rams.
There's a case that the smart money right now is on the Rams.
Yep, totally agree.
All right, enjoy the weekend, everybody. Take us out of here, sir.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Barely Educated. We will check in with you some point after the Bears Vikings game. Hopefully, celebrating a W. That would be not just good for the standings and postseason hunt, but just for the Bears, uh, mental state. I think because that was rough to lose week one the way they did to the Vikings. But we will dissect that down the road. Find us on the web. We are at barely_educated on all the socials. Email us at bearlyeducatedpod@gmail.com. And check out our website, buymeacoffee.com/barely_educated. For $3 a month, you join our honor roll, and we'll send you a Barely Educated t-shirt, which you know that you want. And you want to sport around wherever you
It's
live
beautiful.
and work. All right, talk to you next time. Take care, friends, and bear down.
Packers lose.
Bears.
I love the Bears.